Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here, and welcome to my review of Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. And for the start of this review, we're going to take a little history tour about the Nintendo Wii. As we know, it was an incredibly popular console that sold well over 100 million units. A main part of its success was due to it being a family-friendly and generally aimed at the casual market sort of console. But that was not to say that the Wii didn't have any adult or controversial titles. The Wii had Manhunt 2, Mad World, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill to name but a few. But one of the more popular mature titles on the console was No More Heroes and its sequel Desperate Struggle. The series followed the otaku assassin Travis Touchdown as he hunted down various assassins to be the #1 assassin in the world. The series was well known for its over-the-top violence and a wicked sense of humour, but after the 2010 sequel Desperate Struggle, the series went quiet. Some 9 years have passed since the last game in the series, and a whole generation of gamers have yet to be treated to the delights of Travis Touchdown. So Travis is back with Strikes Again, but is it really the No More Heroes game we've been waiting for? Let's find out. First things first, let's get the elephant out of the room. Those who are expecting another No More Heroes in the style of the previous games will be bitterly disappointed, as this is essentially a spin-off. The story picks up several years after the end of Desperate Struggle and sees our boy Travis living the life of luxury in a worn-out old trailer playing video games. That's until a dude called Badman turns up to kill Travis. Badman is the father of Badgirl, one of the most iconic characters from the first game that Travis killed. A fight breaks out between the two in the trailer, while that's until Travis' special video game console, the Death Drive Mark II, sucks both of them into the game's world. Now stuck in the Death Drive, Travis and Badman must work together to complete each of the 6 games to be granted whatever they want. The story setup is actually really quite interesting, and it does work quite well, though it does forget about the main goal for the mini-dramas in each of the 6 games within the game. One thing that does deliver throughout is the game's script. It's consistently witty, funny, and full of one-liners and crude humour. It's classic Suda51, though it does miss a bit by not being fully voice acted throughout the whole game. As for the actual gameplay, and now this is where the game is a bit all over the place. You play through 6 different games, all with their own unique takes and own unique gimmick for each game. First game you play is Electric Thunder Tiger 2, and it's your typical hack and slash type of game. You run from A to B, smacking enemies and exploring a little bit. The second game, Life is Destroy, is an odd one as it sees you playing from a top-down view and sees you slashing tiles to make a path to each of the murdered residents' houses. The puzzle elements are actually really quite fun and enjoyable, but when you actually explore the houses of the murder victims, it's just old plain hacking and slashing enemies, which does get a bit old very fast. Coffee and Donuts is the third game, and brilliant title aside, this sees you finding several dead bodies of the same old man, and you must travel through several levels to bring these bodies coffee and donuts. It's certainly a dark premise, but it's pretty funny, and these levels are actually quite fun, offering fun platforming challenges, as well as the same old samey combat. We also have a racing game that offers a cool visual style, as well as a couple of other games that I won't spoil for you. There's also a visual novel type game called Travis Strikes Back, which tells you how Travis gets each of these new games for the system. It's a humorous read with plenty of fourth wall jokes and plenty of poking of fun in itself, as well as a nice change of pace from the constant hacking and slashing of the main game. But for as much as the game likes to say it offers plenty of variety, in reality you'll mostly be attacking endless enemies throughout the game, and nothing really much else. Even if the game has its own unique gameplay gimmick for most of the games, it all just boils down to hammering the attack button, which is a shame. Combat in the game sees you having a light and a heavy attack, as well as various special moves to help you in battle. You can also level up Travis and Badman to make the game more easy, but to be honest the game is pretty darn easy, so you shouldn't have too much trouble there. I don't mind the combat, but it's just so darn repetitive that none of the games feel that much different from each other. One thing that does help with the repetitiveness is that the whole game can be played in co-op multiplayer. One player can be Travis whilst the other one can be Batman. No doubt there'll be arguments who'll actually play as Travis, but honestly both characters play pretty much the same, bar some special moves that are exclusive for said character. Anyway, playing in multiplayer is probably the real draw here, and thankfully it does make the experience really quite fun and much less boring than it is on your own. If you didn't know already, Travis Strikes Again love indies. If the 6 different games weren't enough to show it, you can even dress Travis and Batman in various t-shirts based on plenty of popular indie titles. Games such as SteamWorld D, Dead Cells and Hollow Knight are all represented here by these t-shirts, and whilst you can't see them whilst playing is still a nice gesture nevertheless. One thing that actually surprised me was how lengthy the game was. I was expecting a game that would only last a couple, 3 or 4 hours max, but to my surprise the game took me just under 10 hours to complete. This was on the normal difficulty and I did try to get most of the collectibles, so your mileage may vary. Once you do complete the game you unlock a new Game Plus mode so you can go back with all your new skills and power-ups if you want. The game will also be receiving extra content in the future thanks to the Season Pass, and those who bought the retail version will already have the pass bundled in with your cart. Whilst the content hasn't been released yet, it will come with 2 extra playable characters, some extra scenarios for Travis and Batman, so it should add a decent amount of content when the DLC drops eventually arrive. Presentation-wise now, and the game continues the series' iconic 3D cel-shaded type of graphics, and it does still look nice. The game is presented in the old-style 4x3 with borders each side of it. It is a nice take on the old-style games, especially with the CTR static and neon effects. The game supposedly runs at 60 FPS, and whilst it tries to, the frame rate is a bit all over the place, especially when there's loads of enemies on the screen, as well as when you're playing in multiplayer. Conclusion time now, and Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes is an incredibly strange game. There's a weird mishmash of genres that doesn't always feel like different games. It's a cool idea that never really works, but there is fun to be had here, especially in multiplayer. For as much fun as you try to have with it, the game really never escalates in nothing more than a so-so experience. So that's why I'm giving Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes a 5.5 out of 10 with the title of Meh. Here's hoping a third proper game in the series eventually comes to the Switch, or even a port of the first 2 games. Nevertheless, thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming, bye!